Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Bob Pace. I'm the host of this live podcast called the CPS Stop Taking Our Children. I want to give a warm welcome because I know you all have been down this road with CPS. It has affected me and it still affects me. I'm not an attorney. I'm a caring, loving husband who wants to help you all out there. And I am terribly sorry for what you're going through because it has affected me. It still has affected me, and I've been fighting them for 15 years. Now, I've developed 5 rules that should help you, and I'll talk to them in a moment. But right now, I want to go over some ground rules, and again, welcome all my guests there. Hi, Martha, and welcome. It's very nice to see you. You're from YouTube, so your videos, your YouTube shows up everywhere. The ones from Facebook do not show up on YouTube, the comments. So I have to post them so y'all can see them. Now, one of the ways that you interact with this podcast is you text a message with either a question or a comment about CPS. And please show me your first name and then show me where the case was. Is it in, it can either be the city or county. That's all I really need. I get to get an idea of the CPS system there because a lot of them are corrupt. Not all of them are bad, but I've talked to over 900 people and I have talked to them. Sorry, I got distracted for a moment here. My show producer was talking to me. I do apologize tonight. I was late. The last couple nights, in fact, one morning, I was an hour early. The last couple nights, I've been here before the time and in the morning there. But tonight, I was late. And I'm sorry with my computer. It's a hit and miss. I thought I resolved the computer issue. And it seems like when I am on the podcast, the cursor doesn't load. Well, it was a hard time getting on because it didn't recognize my password because I had to keep hitting escape. So it took me almost 40 minutes to get on. I started this thing. When I start here, I start a half an hour before my show time to get on. So I do apologize. It's not making a habit of that. It's also, I am trying to do my best. What has happened to me financially, I don't have the funds to go out and buy a new computer, which would resolve all the issues. It's an old computer. They think something's wrong with the motherboard or something. I tried to double up on the fans, thinking running it cooler would help. I did have my phone by my computer, but now I keep the phone away from the computer. So that should I thought would help, but the same problem seemed to occur again. So it is a struggle. It is a struggle. But I'm here because I care about you more than anything. I'm here because I really care, and I always give you a good hour of showtime. I give you, and a lot of you have said that you've used my advice and very grateful and thankful for it, and that I am a dynamic speaker, and I come across, and I really try to help you and relate to what you're going through. Relate to what you're going through. Um, so it is a hard role, the role of getting your family back together. You've encountered one of the worst public or once government agencies I ever had experienced, far worse than the Internal Revenue Service. And I know right now they're trying to clean government, and maybe the child protection system and the social service will be looked into. Social services is bad. I see where CPS got their bad habits. Social services will give you the runaround, and they're supposed to help people in need and help people in the United States, but that has all changed now. So I don't know what's going to down the road there, but I'm here to address your concerns and help you with your case. Now, if you have a question and you want it answered, please text a message, or if you have a comment about CPS, please text a message. Now, if you're after your city or county, please show me your state. And if you're from another country, which I have 21 countries in here participating, it's important to tell me your country and all the other information. I help everybody that comes to the room about CPS. I help everyone. I help everyone. So I care. My heart bleeds for what you're going through because I went through the same thing. I have 6 children I've helped raise. 3 of them were stolen by CPS, were trafficking by CPS. And there was false allegations made against me and my family. The problem with CPS is that anytime a layperson calls in or a professional person calls in, they have to take the report that it actually did happen. Then they go to investigate. The problem is the investigation part has been put by the wayside, and they immediately want to take your child. They immediately want to come to your home. No advance warning whatsoever. So I have one of my rules, rule number 3, that you do not answer the door. You don't let them in. You don't let them take your children. Now, Martha is new. I've never seen you before, so I'm glad you're here. I'm on YouTube watching you. Great. You're from Fresno, California, and I know it's very corrupt there. I know that. Vincent Davis, my attorney, has gone to Bakersfield, and they do not like him. Well, your case is over, but thank you for helping us. God bless. Well, I'm glad your case is over. Can you tell me more about your case, Martha? Like what you did that may help others in this room listening. I have regulars that come into this room, and besides, text me a message. Please start off a little bit about your case. Start from the beginning, so I know, so I can help you. I can help you. Now, another way that you can participate in this room is by being a guest on my podcast. Now, to be a guest, hold on. My guest comment has disappeared. Oh dear. My guest comment has disappeared. Hold on one second here. Grace, if you can hear me, I'm texting you a question. Oh, you're not there on the show. Okay. You've already left there. All right. Um, what's the statute of limitations on a summon normally? Now, what do you mean by a summons? Meaning, were you requested to appear or talk to somebody? If you got some type of summons, what did it state that they want you to do? A summons is usually a court order or something to appear or something there. And I don't know if that's what you're talking about as far as the statute of limitations. Is that what you're talking about? The a summons that you're supposed to get? Okay, they summons you to court. That means you must go to court. If it's on a legal documentation signed and it says what it says to do, then you need to appear to court. Otherwise, they'll come out and they'll issue a warrant and they'll arrest you. And they'll bring you in and then book you, and then you're going to have to get a bail to get out. Now, I don't know, I've never heard of a summons being used in a CPS case, but in criminal matters, if they issue a summons, you usually want to comply with it. If you don't, they'll issue for a warrant, you'll be arrested, and then you have to bail yourself out, and then you're going to have to come up with an attorney, and it gets very, very costly. You never want to ignore the law. That's the problem. The law is very dangerous, and you need to follow. Now, as far as answering the door or answering your mail, if you have something in writing, you're going to have to get a hold of an attorney right away. What I would do is take that summons letter and talk to an attorney about it. Now, I know attorneys may charge you a fee, but it'd be well worth the fee if it's a small amount. I don't know how much they charge to review what a summons or what action you need to do. It's also, if you're going to can you have a consultant with an attorney, you can do that. Now, if you call in or talk as a guest on my show, then you will I'm trying to create a banner right now. Now, to appear as a guest on my show, all you have to do is contact my show producer. Her name is Grace, and her email is grace@vincentwdavis.com. And you just pick one of my shows you want to be a guest on. And that guest, you send her an email. That's grace@vincentwdavis.com. And I'm on twice a day. I come on at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time and 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Um, Um, so, a fourth way to interact with this podcast is to call me, Bob Pace, at 626 698 0990. I use Vonage on the phone. You can reach me. And so if you want to talk to Mr. Davis, you can talk to him for 15 minutes free, a private conference call. It won't be right away, but he'll schedule it with you. And you can ask him that question about the summons. But let me start at the beginning. You've written there. Oh boy, we got a lot of messages there. Okay. Let me see here. Okay. They summons me to court. Okay. It's hard to talk, but my 2-year-old daughter was was bothered by a roommate of mine about 4 years ago, and I couldn't get anyone to do anything about it. And the police took me to a mental health facility. Oh boy, that was tough. When I came out of the hospital, they took them to CPS. I guess your baby. I was railroaded by my attorney and lost my rights. Well, you probably used a court-appointed attorney, and they're worthless. They're worthless there. Kelsey, welcome back. Not Kelsey, but Kessia. Cloud, you're welcome back. For CPS petitions, but they had it signed and dated for me to show 23 hours. Hold on one second here. Okay. I don't know what kind of attorney you had, Martha. It sounds pretty bad. Now, for CPS petition, they had it signed and dated for me to show 23 hours later, then denied me the remote to appear. Oh, that was terrible. It was during COVID too. Hi, Akima Richardson. I'm glad you're here. Akima Richardson is from Brooklyn, New York, and we have Martha from Fresno, California, and Keisha Cloud. I don't know where you're from yet. You haven't told me. I forgot. Martha's Fresno, California, and Akima Richardson is from Brooklyn, New York. Now, Martha said, I had no idea what I was doing. It was a long story. I understand. I understand the frustrations. Now, Keisha, when did appear? Did you have representation there? I think she did, and her attorney railroaded her. And I don't know if it was a court-appointed attorney or not. So she now is talking about a summons, and she doesn't know whether she should appear or not. And if it's a court-ordered summons, that's usually a criminal matter. And if you don't appear, then they'll send out a warrant, and then they'll arrest you on the spot and haul you into jail and put you in jail, and then you're going to have to get a bail and then appear in court. So you do not want to ignore a thing there. So hold on a second here. My show producer is trying to help me. Um, Keisha says, nah, no, he wanted to tell me time to respond was up. Who was telling you your time was respond was up? Was it your attorney, the judge, or somebody else, or CPS? Akima Richardson, Brooklyn, New York says, is there any way that she can find out if there is a warrant issued already, or what are the options? If she cannot appear in person, can she be produced virtually? Well, I don't have a clear picture of the summons. She needs to tell me who signed the summons and what does the summons read. You need to read me the summons. I wish you would call in right now at my phone number at 626-698-0990. Okay, I'm trying to talk to my show producer who's popping in and out. And so I'm trying to talk to her on that there. Um, okay, what I've done is that I've gone and did the banner. Okay. Okay. Um, okay. So we got the banner in. Okay. I think we got it fixed up here, but I imagine. Oh, Keisha's from Utah. That's right. You talked to me before, and that your child was taken to Montana. Um, Now, Kima asks, Keisha, when did you appear? Did you have representation then? And Akima said, Martha, how much time's passed between leaving the hospital and then terminating your rights? Now, Martha said that she was leaving the hospital, but her rights were terminated. And she's from Utah. And Keisha says, no, he waited to tell me to respond was up. Akima, is there any way that she can find out if there is a warrant issued already, or there are options if she's not appeared in person can be produced virtually? And hello, Jessica G, and welcome. Welcome to a live podcast here. I'm Bob Pace, your host, and I'd love to help you. All I ask you, and I put in the other comment here, is when you type in a message, could you also, besides your first name, can you also give me the location, the city, or the county your case was in, and the state? And if you're from another country, your country too, because I have 21 countries that have been on my podcasts. I've had all 50 states, including the District of Columbia, which is not a state, but anyway, I've had them all talk about a problem. And the countries have been Indonesia, Bangladesh, India, Saudi Arabia, uh, Libya, and then Liberia in Africa, Sudan in Africa, Rwanda, Mozambique, and then 4 provinces in South Africa. Then up to Europe, I've had England, Scotland, Wales, Denmark, and Sweden across the pond. In North America, I've had Canada and 4 provinces. I've had all 50 states and the District of Columbia with people calling in and or texting in. And then I have Mexico, south of the border. And then I have Grenada in South America. Then over to the Pacific, I've had New Zealand. And then I've had Australia. I've had both 2 of the states in Australia. So those are the international groups. And they've been in here. And there's about 25 of you that are regulars in here. Like Keisha, she's been here before. Akima's been here ever since I started the show. So Jessica G, I'm glad you're back. You've been here before. But you're going to have to refresh me on where you're from. Now, Keisha says, let me grab the papers really fast. Good, Keisha. Should I wait to call until you're done talking on the show? No, you can call right now, Keisha. If you want to call in, let me put my number back up. If you want to call in, it is up right now. There's my phone number, 626-698-0990. And so you can call in, Keisha. I'd love to have you talk. It's so much easier if you do talk. My phone number is my phone. I use Vonage as the internet application for phone, and it's live right now. I'm very much alive. I have about 30 minutes left of my podcast. So good evening and welcome to the podcast. This is Bob Pace, and who I have the pleasure of talking to.
It is Keisha from Utah.
Yeah, hi, Keisha. Thank you for calling in. I think it's best if you can talk. Everybody can hear you, and so can Akima Richardson from Brooklyn, New York. So we have Keisha from Utah, and we have Martha from Fresno, California, and I think and we have Jessica, and I forgot where Jessica's from. But go ahead. You said that you have a summons. Is that what you have, or what is your question?
I was just curious to how long they have to summons you, and then how long you have until you're supposed to go to court, because they literally gave me not even 23 hours to find a ride when I'm home with my kids. My son's autistic. I got to find a babysitter because I homeschool and everything. And I did all night work trying to get this motion to appear remotely, and he denied it. And he says, for good cause, you have to show in person. And
what is
you know,
he?
that's another
Who
thing
is
I've
he?
heard.
Who is he?
The judge.
Okay, now which court are you in? Are you in dependency court, criminal court, family court? Where are you in?
Juvenile.
Okay, is this a CPS case or is this something involving your kids in trouble?
Yeah. It's CPS.
Right, it's called dependency court is what it is. It's where juvenile law and family law is held in there, but it's dependency court, so it's done by a dependency judge. Now, why is the judge giving you only 23 hours? Is it from him or from the CPS social worker?
It's the petition from CPS, but he had signed it, okaying it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, what does the petition read? How's it read?
A whole bunch of made-up stories and.
Well, I know that, but I can't see it because you have the document. Can you start from the beginning?
A verified petition has been filed in the interest of the above-named children. In the state of Utah, Division of Child Family Services, a verified petition alleges that the above-named children are neglected, abused, and or dependent children. The verified petition also alleges that one or more or all of the biological legal parents or legal guardians of the above-named children are responsible for the neglect, abuse, or dependence of the above children.
Okay. And what does it say after that? Does it give you a date and a time you're supposed to appear?
The above entitled court has intended proceeding pursuit to the verified petition in this matter and has been set an initial pre-trial hearing, trial, or adjudication on the verified petition. The hearing is scheduled on the 28th of March at 11:30. The hearing will be held at the 2nd District Juvenile Court, Davis County. And then it says right at the top, the guy that served me with the paper, it says 3:27. I'm due to be there 28. And he even signed the time, and it is 12:25, and I'm supposed to be there at 11:30.
Well, wait a minute. You said it's in March.
Yeah, this was at the beginning of my case.
No, I understand that. What is the year we're talking about?
24.
Oh, you're reading me the old thing from 24. Did you appear on the 28th of March?
I could not appear. I did the remote to appear. He denied it, and then I appeared at the next one that they ended up having.
Okay, stop there. Stop there. So this one that you're supposed to appear the 20th, did you get an attorney? For instance, what day did you receive that notice, by the way?
The day before.
Okay, so the day before, had they attempted to come to your home and talk to you, CPS?
Yeah, they did. They tried, but
okay, I understand. I know what they're going from that. When they did try to talk to you, and you did not let them in your home or you did not talk to them, you have a right to do so. Now what they're doing is they serve it on you, and it is it's going to be a short notice because they need you in there but that is when you need to get an attorney to say, I'm representing this client. We need more time for a continuance on this matter. Now, did you even think about getting a real attorney, or did you just go out and get any attorney that will help you?
I was appointed one because I'm an at-home mother. Like I said, I have an autistic son. I was homeschooling him and everything.
Right.
I stayed with his grandmother.
Well, the problem is with an appointed attorney, they're not going to help you.
Is nothing. She's a piece.
I know. This is the reason why CPS, you see, your constitutional rights are when you have a legal matter, you're entitled to representation. And CPS will give you the representation. The only trouble is they hire that attorney. And plus that attorney has no background in juvenile, family, or dependency law. And they will not fight for your case because they got a caseload of 30 or more clients. So they don't have time. So you're at the whimsical things. So when they give you that attorney and you not show up right on the 28th, right?
Right.
Okay. What did that attorney tell you? Or was the attorney even talk to you before the 28th?
I did not have a court-appointed attorney at all then, and I did not have one appointed.
So what
to me
you
then.
needed to do is you needed to get a real attorney right away. It's too the judge will appoint a court-appointed attorney, but that came in later of the fact because you eventually did show up. What you should have done is got a real attorney, made a phone call, and you should have also had that real attorney. It may have cost you $1,000, but that attorney could have done a continuance, and that continuance would give you more time to fight your case. What had happened is that has heard from either a layman, a lay person, or a professional person, and they allege you did these things, child neglect or child abuse. Do you know who may have called in on you?
I am not sure exactly.
Okay.
I think it was actually our nephew. He stays up here, and he has a counselor come over like every Friday, and I believe it was his name that was mentioned that had called in. And he was an ex-CPS worker before also.
Okay, so do you have any idea what brought it on? I mean, was it because you weren't caring for the children right or something, or what?
Because we had an incident in the garage, and my kids weren't even here. My older daughter, she was, but my son was over at his aunt's house, so they weren't even in the vicinity at all. So I don't have no clue why he called or turned it in or anything.
Okay. So this next appearance, you showed up. What happened? That was okay. You didn't show up in March. Did they issue a warrant out for you?
So he said that he would recall it if we showed to the next one. What I did.
Well, wait, stop up. You say he. Who do you mean he? Who is he?
Judge.
Well, then you showed up, or I'm confused. You said you missed the hearing.
And I did, and I did the remote appear, and then I called the court clerk, and she gave us another date, and I went to go get my own attorney. Well, come to find out, when I went and talked to him and gave him the story, he goes, I have a cop next door neighbor, and he's not too fond of us children. I don't know why, but come to find out, the attorney and the neighbor were in cahoots. And he's like, well, you should just hire me so I can just drag you along and get you through this faster. And I was like, that's not what I want. I want somebody who's going to fight for me because this is all wrong.
This is the problem. We let our emotions. I'm not trying to say you're doing wrong here, Keisha, but sometimes we let our emotions kick in, and so what's happened is that you did not really find a good attorney. You found somebody that wanted a fast buck from you, which I'm sad.
Right.
There are bad attorneys out there. It's a pretty easy process to find the right attorney. It just involves you with 2 questions. Well, it involves a little bit of time on the internet. You got to find these attorneys. And I have one right now, Mr. Davis, that meets all the requirements. But what you do is that you type in Fresno, California, CPS, that's the letter C, CPS, and then you put down a juvenile law, family law, dependency law attorney. And then you're going to see a bunch of them. they'll pop up. Now you're going to have to make a decision which ones you're going to call. You need to get 3 quotes, so you should pick the 3 strongest ones that look like they've been around a long time. And you need to call them, and you have to ask the first question. The first question is, are you a legal professional, juvenile law, a family law dependency attorney, and have fought CPS and got the children back? If the answer is yes, your second question is, have you ever, when your case is closed, ever sued CPS, either in state court or federal court, and won money from CPS? If the answer is yes, then you got a good candidate. But you have to go one step further. You're going to have to see 3 references. You need to ask for references that you can call and see what kind of attorney you are. Then after you've done all that and you found 3 candidates, then you're going to meet with all 3 of them. And you're going to see if the chemistry's there and how much the retainer is. This does take time. I realize that. You're probably looking at 2 days. One day to find the list and research it. The second day, do all the phone calls. And then after the phone calls, you have all these appointments. Now, Mr. Davis meets all those requirements that I've talked about. So he's a good candidate. And since you've talked to my show, you can actually talk to him. Now, you may think it's too late or whatever it is, but you make yourself a list of questions, and then you prioritize the questions and ask them. And then he will help you, because I have agreement with Mr. Davis that anybody that talks my show or a guest on my show will get a free 15-minute private consultation with Mr. Davis through Zoom. Now, there is a little bit of screening process that takes place. You first have to tell me you want that meeting with Mr. Davis, and then I arrange for my show producer, Grace, and she will set up the meeting with Mr. Davis. But the first step is there's going to be a case manager that'll talk to you about your case. They want to know as much as they can about your case before you talk to Mr. Davis. Then after she talks to you, make sure at the end of the conversation you ask, and it could be Mrs. G, but you say, I do still want to talk to Mr. Davis. When are you going to set up my free 15-minute consultation? And make sure when you call in or you talk to them, you mention that Bob Pace sent you. It's real important to use my name. And so, they will set it up. What happened was the other night, one of the ladies told me that Mrs. G talked to her, but then she didn't follow up, that still wanted to have the meeting. And so even though if Mr. Davis retainers too much money, at least you can talk to him for 15 minutes. You can very specifically ask the question. So you did not show up, but somehow you arranged a Zoom meeting with the judge?
No, like I said, the court clerk set up another date. And in that time, I went and met with that attorney, and I didn't like him, so I went and I wrote my response to the petition. I got it all ready and everything, and it was set the day that the response was supposed to be accepted, the 15 days. And, of course, I showed up with no attorney. He was just appointing me one then. And I had the petition, and the judge said, wait until we get your attorney in here. Like, he extended it a little bit longer, but when I went to go give it to her, she didn't want nothing to do with it.
Of course she doesn't, because you're telling her the job. What she should have done, since you're coming to the courtroom pro se, at that time you don't have an attorney, so you're defending yourself. You should show the judge the petition. He may not like it, but you're pro se, and he has to accept it. And then he has to make a ruling on it. And if the ruling's not in your favor, you can appeal that decision. Now, again, all of us aren't that. I mean, it's taken me, 15 years of fighting CPS to figure out what they did wrong and how I can prevent it from the next time. If I ever have a case again with CPS, I don't think anything will happen, because I know too much now. Plus, now all my children are over the age of 18 anyway. My youngest is 19, my oldest is 47. And those three older ones were never a part of the case, but the case impacted them. The case was terrible against them. So,
yeah, they really do to a family, and it's not okay.
no, they destroyed my family. My family's in shambles. I'm in shambles. Akima was asking me how I'm doing today. Yesterday, I had one of my worst days, and I'm doing okay, Kima. I'm barely treading water, or I'm in a sand pit and barely able to crawl out. I'm trying my best. I do enjoy helping others. And I know that people told me that I have some really good, solid advice. So I know I'm good there. But I am struggling because I have a small job at Bangladesh wages that never pays on time, that lets me hang out for weeks on end with no money for food or bills. So I know the feeling of struggling. I've been struggling now for a long time. And, it gets harder when you get older. I'm 75 now. At 60 is when I lost my job through no fault of my own. And then I got involved in CPS for the next 5 years of answering these complaints that weren't true and showing the social workers my home and everything. They couldn't find anything. Then they got frustrated and got the police involved. And then they ordered me to open up the home again. And yes, they found something because they had 5 firemen, 2 code enforcement, 3 social workers, 2 uniformed policemen, and the detective. And they found something. They charged me with neglect. And the neglect was I had my parents' furniture. I had my parents' furniture in the living room. And they said that would endanger the kids. The kids each lived upstairs, had their own bedrooms and bathrooms. It was a great house, everything. Unfortunately, I had no money to put my parents' belongings in storage. And I was sorting through them, using my living room where I had boxes and furniture stacked. And they said, because you did that, they said that is neglect to the children. And they insisted that same day to take all 3 of my children. One was with me because I just picked them up from school. The other 2, they're taken from school. And they weren't in danger. That's one thing I learned. They have to be in danger before they take your kids. Or before they come in the home, you have to give them permission. Or they have to have a warrant. Or if there's danger happening to your kids, they will come in. They will come in. And the reason why I said all that, I have other people listening, and I want everybody to benefit from what I'm saying. Okay? Keisha?
Most definitely. I would like to talk to Davis because, like I said earlier in your group, I told you that my public defender said that she can't give me a legal explanation of why he took my kids either. So,
well, there's a problem there because that public defender that you got, or the court-appointed attorney, whatever you want to call them, they are bad. I had one too. I had to hire Mr. Davis to get my 2 boys back, but I lost my daughter because of retaliation. They are so bad. They retaliate. The social workers will of the CPS system.
Yeah, my judge wasn't any better either because I told him I'm not comfortable with her. She doesn't want to represent me. She don't do anything that I've asked. I've asked that these things be tested. I asked that we do the discovery. I asked that she examine the CPS. She didn't do none of it. And
well, what's the problem is the judge is probably not the right kind of judge for that court. See, my judge knew all about car accidents and automobile claims and those kinds of things, but he knew nothing about reunification, nothing about children. So if you have the wrong kind of judge, they don't care. They get paid by CP. Yeah, that's so sad. Everybody in that courtroom is all paid. They're all inclusion. I was forced to stay out of the courtroom. They didn't allow me to be in the courtroom except when it was time to sign something. But I never got to hear how my court-appointed attorney appeared or anything else. So I'm really kind of shocked. I mean, I'm still to this day, they railroaded me so bad. They railroaded me. And I had a claim against them, a civil claim that I would have won millions of dollars, but I had no money to retain an attorney to do that claim. And that's the part because I had sold my house, quick sell my house, do I have the money to pay Vincent Davis to get my 2 boys back? He got my 2 boys back. One was, one was, oh boy, I think he had turned just 12.
Thank you for going that far out and doing what you had to do to get your kids back. That's so amazing. That's what's inspirational about you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that because, I've been on this world. I've worked for 60 years. I've been on this planet for 75 years. I don't feel that old. I don't look that old, but I am really having a hard time finding work. And I can't understand. We have a president of the United States that is 3 years older than me. He has a job. Why can't I work? There's nothing wrong with being old. I mean, if your mind is clear and you're able physically to get around, there should be no reason why you can't. And I think a lot of it deals with my involvement with CPS. You see, I found out recently that if you don't clean or expunge your records, when people do credit checks, it'll show you up and you will see what's on your criminal background, and it will hurt you getting a job. I think that's really the reason why I've not been able to get the kind of job. I need a career job, a job that pays enough to feed the family food, that if one day I could buy a house. See, I had bought a house. I'd worked 45 years to get a house. I saved my own deposit, my down payment, and I got my loan and everything else. And it was sad. It was so sad. When I lost your home, and not only that, they destroy your children. My daughter's 22. She was taken at 12. I didn't have a chance to say goodbye to her. And my 2 boys have been bouncing around. They're trying to go to school, but he's having problems with registering for school. And he is trying to finish his senior year in college. I know CPS affected him. My young one seems to be doing okay. He's has a level head, and he works hard. He shows up for a job. He knows how to take care of himself. He will make it in this world. He will make it in this world.
Saying that it's not going to take that toll on him. He's trying to be the stronger one for all you guys.
Yeah, I know he is. So what happened when you finally spoke to him and he assigned you a judge, and you said you don't assign you attorney, you want to take, what happened to your case? It get worse?
So it was pretty much drug out. And then all of a sudden, it was on September 5th that they took my kids, because it was right before my son's birthday. And I mean, you do the math from February 2nd to September, the case is already almost over. They left the kids with me almost the entire time, took them at the end so they can play whatever game they're trying to play with me right now. I got a new judge too, because the last one flipped his face turned red. He walked out the room and he goes, "Can we start over?" Because I told him I didn't like my attorney that he appointed me. And that's when I just had to fight it and freaking just deal with it. And then they got rid of him. And then just the last hearing, we had a new judge. And he seems to be just going along with what had happened, what he's reading, what he's going along with. So I don't know if there's any motion or anything that I can pull to, maybe make him revalue, or that. Are you
trying to fight it pro se? Are you trying to use a court-appointed attorney? Or are you trying to use a professional paid attorney?
I'm trying to get rid of her, the public pretender. And if I have to, I'll represent myself. But my friend, she actually has a guy down in St. George that helped her get her kid back, and he did it pro bono and everything, because she did all the research herself, had everything set up, and he left. And I've already done that. I've got everything set up. My folders are
you can go back to that question again. You can type in Fresno, California, CPS, and you're looking for a pro bono lawyer in the areas of juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. And you'll see the names appear. And then you need to call them and ask those 2 important questions and filter it down to 3 top attorneys. And I say Vincent's one of them, but you may not be able to afford Vincent. But the other two, I don't know how much the retainers will be. I've heard of retainers at 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, and on up of retainers.
There's about 5,000. Yeah, it's pretty rough, but.
And I've told people sometimes you have to do a credit line on your home if you own a home, or you have to do a loan through a high rate interest loan place. They have all these places that can give out loans, but you pay a high return. And so.
That would be to do it.
Yeah, but then there's Pro Se. Now, Pro Se, I did not know enough, but now I probably know maybe I could do it Pro Se. But Pro Se is really hard because you need to know all the legal terms and the deadlines and stuff. You're trying to do open heart surgery yourself. Now, can you imagine cutting open your chest and taking your heart that's beating and then replace the part that's bad? You don't have the expertise. That is the same way with fighting CPS. I keep telling people, it's the same as open heart surgery. You're not going to cut open your chest and take your heart out and try to replay it. That is the same true about CPS. They're going to lie to you. They're in a money mode. They want to make trillions of dollars off all these families. They were getting
autistic too, and he has problems, and they made sure that my daughter and son stayed close together. That way, they had each other because he is autistic. But when they got put in the shelter right after they left the house, they kept on telling my daughter, "Don't baby him. He needs to learn how to do it." And the staff there, they didn't have nobody that was.
They don't know your case. And the problem is CPS, once they know that your child are special needs, they get double the money. Like in my case, my 3 children, it was $20,000 a piece. They weren't special needs. But if they were, it'd be $40,000. And that's a month that the state pays the county. They would pay them. There they were getting $60,000 for 3 children. If there were special needs, they get $180,000. It's ridiculous what they get. And the money frees slowly from the federal government. Right now, for so long, the federal government hasn't really, every couple of months, they have to worry about being without money. Well, this is the problem. They let an agency gone rogue. They let that agency rob the federal government, which is our money. Our taxes went to support the federal government. That's where the money comes from. The money comes from us paying taxes, from us giving them Social Security so they can collect interest on our Social Security. Now, I have over $4 million of back Social Security that they owe me, but they dribble it out in small chunk change. And they don't pay me for any of the interest on $4 million. I need that money badly. I need it because I'm down to my last ropes here because I need a computer. I need the car. My car I'm driving with no rear brakes. And that is bad too. That is bad. No rear brakes. And the transmission is going out on it. And those are big ticket items. And so that's something you can't. I'm barely able to scrape a little bit of money a week. And that little bit of money barely pays. But the problem with that money, I don't get it weekly. I don't get it on time. And so it piles up and I have to call people every month. Can I pay this later? The money's coming. Or I have to borrow the money from my son and say, I know the money's coming, but it's coming there. So it is really a hard struggle that you're in there because I know all of you are trying a hard time to get an attorney. And it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing. And Mr. Davis is excellent. But like any other attorney, he's going to cost money. It's just like with a doctor. There's not too many pro bono doctors that do open heart surgery. And so what you need, you need, and if there is a pro bono, they're out there. You just have to research it. Like a fool, I didn't know about researching for attorneys. I did not know about Mr. Davis at first. I tried to use the court-appointed attorney thinking, okay, at least I tell him what to do, he'll do it. I did not know they refuse to do things or they do things wrong behind your back or they don't fight for you or they don't talk to you. My attorney would only talk to me at court, at the courtroom, out in the hallway. Well, that's not a way to discuss matters. You're sitting there with everybody else. It's like, it's terrible. And I would see hundreds of families go through the same thing, the anguish on their faces, the loss of their children, and they bring down all their family members. It's sad. The dependency courts are depressing in Orange County. At the Orange courthouse there, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. And CPS in Orange County is really corrupt, as well as the LA County and Riverside County and Bakersfield area over there and Fresno area and Kern County and Shasta County.
A lot of conflict of interest going on around here too.
Yeah, so it is bad. I know in Utah it probably is bad too. Did you know in Utah that they have hi Betty. Sorry I've not been able to talk to you. Good evening, Betty. Betty's from Montana. Did you know? I forgot what I was going to add there about the money situation. Oh, in Utah, there is a cult there. There's lots of cults in Utah. I mean, I call the Mormons a cult only because they are doing things illegally with children and women and whatever. And I can't really discuss the details.
In my now.
There is a cult in Utah that gets several $1 million a year from the federal government to produce a fuel. Because they have an organization that they've formed, they requested money for doing that. And to date, they've been in business, I think, for 6 years. To date, they've not produced a drop of it. But they have facilities and buildings that they have purchased with the millions of dollars they get from the federal government. And no one's watching it. Now, maybe Elon Musk or President Trump will catch it because there's a lot of wasteful spending. There's
on the taxes by the dependencies, and like literally, I have a temple in my backyard. Like literally.
Okay.
It is huge. It's just my whole back of the house glows because the temple is so big. It's like a mansion.
Wow.
It hurts I don't like it.
Yeah. I want to say hello. I want to say hello. Yeah, I want to say hello to Chew Baby. Thank you for calling in. Chew Baby is from Virginia. And also want to say hello to Des Unicella. I'm going to have to end my podcast because I've talked for over an hour. Now, my podcast started late, so I gave you guys a full hour. And tomorrow, I'll even try to come on earlier. Yeah, I'll come on earlier with my computer, not necessarily start the show earlier. I'll still start the show at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. But I'm going to have to take more than a half an hour because my computer, whatever reason, it jumps all over the place. My cursor doesn't work right. I can't scroll up or down. I can't even type messages. That's how bad it is. So
you shut it off every night.
Well, that's another thing. I'm going to start doing that too. I want to say thank you, Keisha, for calling in. Marcia, thank you for texting in the information. And also KK, I'm so glad you show up every time, all the time. I really want to thank you all for being in my podcast. And there will be a brief message from my attorney, Vincent Davis. And so I'm going to have to sign off. And if you want to talk to Vincent Davis, all you will have to do is text me on the number you called in, your full name, the name that is your real name, your email, your full email, and your phone number. And I'll set it up with Grace and Vincent Davis that you'll be 15 minutes to talk to a real attorney. Now, when you do, there will be some screening that goes on with Mrs. G, the case manager. They'll ask you some questions. Make sure you tell at the end of a conversation you still want to talk to Mr. Davis. Okay? Even if the retainer is too high. I don't know. It may be not too high. Every case he does is different. It's all based on the type of case it is and how long the case has been going on. So he does. He's very compassionate. Mr. Davis is compassionate. He will help you. And Grace is very studious of what she does. She's very studious of what she does. So
It's a great team. Thank you.
yeah, I want to thank you again. I'm going to sign off by saying, please keep fighting for your children. Families are so important. Do not give up your rights. Do the family reunification and review my 5 rules I've come up with. There are hundreds of podcasts of mine. As I say, I've been doing this for almost 16 months. And so there's hundreds of shows. And I talk about my 5 rules that you want to go by. And so they will help you. So God bless you all. And this is Bob.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Faith, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.